And we're going to go live on Facebook to group. You have two L. What do you want me to call you, by the way? Like, do you go by
I go by Allie D.
Okay. Are we ready? Here we go. Oh, it says we are live on Facebook. It's always funny because one screen isn't, and then the other screen says live, and you're like, wait, I don't know what. But we're live. So, welcome to the hot seat, Miss Allie. I'm very excited to have you here.
Yes, thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about you. What do
Yeah,
you do?
so
Where are you from?
yeah, so I am a wife. I'm a mom of three. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm from Northern Florida. I'm in this little small country town. And yeah, I am an entrepreneur. I've been a network marketer on and off for the last 10 years. I struggled in a lot of areas, but recently I started developing my entrepreneur skills. And through that, one of my mentors really started helping me see my true potential and things that I have to offer others, which has inspired me to become a life coach. So as I was sharing with you earlier, I help female entrepreneurs rise above their past pain and fears, those entrepreneurs who feel lost and broken and frustrated, all of those things I just mentioned that I was dealing with. And I help them so that they can achieve success, not just in their business, but in their life as well. Because I have learned you can really only reach so much success until you've learned to let go of those things that are holding you back. I used to think my personal and business life were separate, but they really, they really go together. And so if you've got that personal, I don't want to call it like bad, but just those things that are holding you back, you've got to let them go in order to succeed in your business as well.
Absolutely. One almost inevitably leaks into the other. It's
Yes.
you either take the business home with you or you take home to work. So, without the healing and without the proper mindset, all those things are super important, because when you are trying to relate yourself as an expert in a certain area, you kind of have to have your shit together.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it really comes down to the mindset too. So if you have things from your past or you're fearful of certain things, like if you have that mindset, yeah, it's totally going to affect you in your life and your business.
Yeah. And it shifts your energy as well. So, people may not know why they're uncertain about working with you, but there's something that's coming across. And this is what people have a hard time wrapping their head around, and why it's so important to continuously work on self and how that affects how we present ourselves, because there's an energy shift, and it can even happen on screen,
Yeah.
right, as we're online. So it's super super important to know, and I think that's amazing work, because so often there are things that we don't even realize were traumatic events in our past.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, I know what my trauma was, but there's forever things popping up and I'm going, oh, guess I got to deal with that now. Okay. Right? Because as you heal through some, then other things come through and say, hey, remember me at 12 years old when you didn't, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, that event. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And a healing isn't a one-time process either. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm healed, now everything's fine. Like healing is a continuous journey. And though it gets easier and it gets lighter, like there's still a journey. And like you said, you may be starting to be healed of one thing and then something else pops says, oh, this needs to be addressed now too. And so it's really it's addressing those things, but knowing how to address those things and how to cope with those things and having those tools so that when they come up, you don't run and hide or try to sweep it under the rug. You know how to address it so you can keep moving forward.
Absolutely. I love it. So you have a big thing happening tomorrow, you said?
Yes, yes, I have a 2-day workshop this Thursday and Friday. So that's tomorrow and Friday. It's about an hour long at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm super excited about it. And yeah, it's just going to be a workshop where we're going to really work through those core, your past, your pain, your fears, how to face those, how to overcome your pain, that mindset shift, right? Finding your identity and who you are, and that you are not what your past was, you in how to see yourself in that, and how to bring out that greatness within you. So those are just a couple of the main topics we're going to be discussing. And yeah, I'm super excited about it.
That is so amazing, right? There's nothing like jumping in and, giving what you've got to show people how you can help. Now, we were talking a bit before this about what not what troubled you, but something that's can be difficult, and it's kind of difficult for a lot of people across the board. So let's tap into that a little bit. Explain.
Yeah, so when we were discussing, and I was trying to think, all right, what can we really work on here? So I've created, this workshop. I'm so excited about it. And for me, I know what I have to offer, and I know the value that's in it. And I know even this is my first time offering my services like as a coaching package, right? I have some clients that I've worked with, but I worked with them through another entrepreneurial community I'm a part of, right? Trying to get my feet wet in a little bit, and really been focusing on building my group and my following. So this is the first time that I'm doing a workshop and then really offering my services and putting it out there and putting a price point to it. And so it's not so much afraid of asking for the sale. It's really more of, well, I guess it is part in that, because for me, it's I know what value I have to offer. I worry that other people won't see that value, and as we were talking, I have people in my groups that will comment on things or even private message me and tell me that they appreciate the value that I'm providing them, and these positive things, right, for me as a coach. But when I bring down a price point now to it, are they going to feel the same way? And so that's kind of where I'm I won't say struggling, but kind of worried about going into this workshop.
Yeah, absolutely. And that has so much to do with mindset, because you do know that you offer great value, but you're afraid of judgment from somebody else that they're going to tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. And so you need to firmly believe in what you are offering. And if you think of it in this way, it is a disservice to that person if you don't tell them what you have to offer.
Hmm. Okay.
Right? Because you've helped numbers of people, you've been through this journey yourself. So, not giving them the opportunity to decide to work with you is actually not in their benefit.
That's a very good point. That I need to keep that in mind. Yeah. Because yeah, like I said, I mean, I know the value offer. I know that the years that I have spent working on myself, developing myself, learning the things that I have gone through, right? My past pain and fears that I've overcome, and all of that to offer. So, and I want to offer it to other people. So yeah, you're right. It's a disservice not to offer my services and let them make the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There are going to be people who are just outright going to say no. But that doesn't mean no forever. That just
Okay.
means no for right now. right? Because there are people who are like, okay, I see you. And I see the value that you're giving because I'm getting something out of your group. So let me just keep an eye on you for a little bit, right? There are people that I have talked to where they have nurtured somebody and it took 2 years for them
Wow.
to join a program that they did.
Yeah.
And so there are people that are a little bit more hesitant or perhaps not ready. And so don't. And then there are people who are going to throw money at you saying, oh my gosh, please help me. Right. So you can't control what they do. All you can control is your belief in what you have to offer and knowing that you can help them and you will help them when is up to them.
Yeah, that's very true. And especially, I mean, it goes with anything, right? If when they become ready, I have to keep in mind too, especially when it's something that's so personal, right? We get into some really personal things in the coaching that I do because we have to dig deep to figure out where some of the pain is stemming from, or what those limiting beliefs are stemming from, and going into that. So, since I teach that, I'm very in tune to my own self, and so as we're talking, it makes me realize that for me, I think it's a fear of rejection, right? I have rejection that has stemmed from my like childhood, young adult years. And I notice that anytime that there's any type of potential rejection, I tend to try and pull away because yeah, I mean, no one really likes rejection, but for some reason have this extra adversity to it. So yeah, and I have
You self-sabotage because you want to beat them to it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah. It's a protection thing, right?
Yep,
Like,
it
well,
is.
I'm gonna shut it down so that you can't reject me. But really don't think of it as a rejection. Think of it as that is somebody you need to nurture some more so that they grow to have a relationship with you, feel comfortable with you, to then trust you to become vulnerable with you.
Okay.
And, anytime we're dealing with past trauma, you're right. There are people who just aren't ready. And it's not something that can be forced. It has to be something they have to want it. Otherwise, it's
Mhm.
not going to help them.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So, like initially when I was dealing with my psychiatrist and diagnosis of CPTSD, there was an insurance company I was dealing with, and they were like, well, she should be in a program. And my doctor was like, yeah, she should, but she's not ready yet because the potential of being triggered in that group just by somebody else's story
Hmm.
would have been enough that it would have shut me down completely.
Yeah, it's
So
very true.
had to trust my doctor to know when I was ready to step into a trauma program or something of the kind, um, to make sure that I was healing and it wasn't hindering. So it could be that people may say no, but that's what I mean. It's not no forever. It just means they're not ready right now.
Yeah.
But we're also going to talk a little bit about sort of a selling technique
Okay.
that may help with that. So, if you've ever taken a subway or a bus or like public transportation of some kind, and you see somebody smiling or laughing to themselves, and you have no idea why, but you can't help but smile or kind of laugh along because
Yeah.
now you're curious, like, what's funny? And why aren't I in on this joke? Right?
Yeah.
It's a natural human connection. It's a natural thing for us to say, I'll have what she's having. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
hello. So when we're trying to sell our product, and it's such an icky word, right? To sell, and I think we associate it with that sort of secondhand car salesman,
Yeah, because that's not what we want to be like. We're just offering services to help others, but it is a sale in essence. So yeah.
Absolutely, right? So if you think of it like it is your favorite thing ever, and it's almost like a secret. So I used this example in a workshop I did. Of course, I don't have the lip balm that I had because my dog chewed it. It was a little Coke, like a Coca-Cola thing. And I loved it. It was so cute, and it would sit on my desk by my computer, and I'd look over and it's like a little miniature
Aw.
Coca-Cola, but then you put the lip stuff on it, smelled like Coca-Cola. So I loved that thing so much. I was like, this brings me so much joy. You have no idea. Like the smell of it and the feel of it on my lips, and just seeing the cute little Coke thing on the side of my desk. I just have to peek over, and it brings me such joy. And, after talking about it in that way to people, I said, how many of you now want to buy one? How many of you want to go and get your own?
Oh,
Right. And it was simply because I was excited about this, and I shared that excitement and those feelings and what it does for me. And when you feel great about something and you have something that really lights you up, other people go, well, don't leave me out. I want in on that too. Right. We all suffer FOMO. Right? Fear of missing
yeah.
out. And if you've got something and you are so excited about what it does because what it's done for you and what you've put together and how it's helped other people, and you share it with that kind of excitement and make it that enticing, then those people watching are like, yeah, I need that. Ugh, no brainer. Right. And that's just by you infusing your own energy and your own love for what you do into what you're presenting to them. And when you shift that mentality to you are doing them a disservice by not presenting it to them,
Yeah.
then it's a harder it's hard not to win in that situation, right? It's
Yeah.
hard for people not to say. And the price point is a relative, or not a relative, irrelevant, because if people really want something, they'll find the money.
That is true.
Right?
That is very true. Yeah.
Either we've experienced or we've seen other people do it. I've known people too that said, oh, I really want to take this course, but it's $1,800.38. And they're so determined to do it. Next thing you know, like they get a tax benefit check for 1838, right? Like
Yeah.
literally to the count, because they know that this is what they want. They manifest it into their lives. And I'm not saying people can say, well, no, I am saying, we can say, I want $500, but you can't sit there and go, okay,
Yeah. Where is it?
now, what about now? Right? Like there's just always nice little surprises that happen when we need it, or we manifest it when it's time for us to have it. So never worry about the price point, because if they want it bad enough, they'll find the money.
Well, I know they're getting a great value from it too. So
I
it's just
have no doubt.
that phrase that you said really, really just helped me a lot right there. Just the mindset shift, like that simple phrase of, I'm doing them a disservice not to offer, my service and my full service. Because right now I've been, I guess in a sense you can call it cheating people, right? Because I've just been not, I guess that sounds bad, but I've only been giving them a little bit here and a little bit there, and not the fullness that I can offer, because I've been doing them a disservice and not offering it.
Exactly. Right. And then you don't want those people to say, hey, why didn't you tell me about this sooner?
Yeah. Yeah. So true. All right.
So
I'm ready to make my offer tomorrow.
I can't wait. And I so want to hear about it. So
Yeah.
you'll have to let us know how it goes. How long have you been preparing? Like, is this the first time you're doing this workshop yourself?
This is my very first workshop for my own, company, my own brand, my own coaching. And so now like I said, I'm part of the entrepreneurial community where I have a lot of mentorship, a lot of training. They do challenges to where, they offer the value and then offer, opportunity to be part of it. So I've been watching, right? And I've been able to take kind of a similar model of how they do it. And so I'm actually not going to make my offer until Friday at the very end. So tomorrow is just value, value, value. Friday's gonna be value, value offer, right? And there'll be even an extra offer for those that come in sooner. With the first 5 people that come with like the first 48 hours. After that, my price point will go up. And then I intend on doing these. I hope every 4 to 6 weeks of doing a 2-week type workshop to on different topics to really give that value, and then offer my services more upfront. And then I want to get more comfortable with also doing that within my group, right? Letting people that are new to the group that maybe haven't been in a workshop yet know, hey, not only are you getting value within this group, but you can get more. I actually just finished my recordings for my unit section in there, to where I have a couple different brief topics, overviews on the main things that I cover. And then the last video is more of it. If you'd like to dig deeper, if you're ready to go through this process, I'm here to go through it with you. Get in touch with me so that I can make my offer as well.
Awesome. That's amazing. Right. And this is actually something that just came up, and I think it's a good thing for us to address and talk about. Do you ever feel that you're afraid that you're giving too much away, that they'll think, oh, well, I don't need this?
There have been that at times, and that's one thing that like my other mentor and I have talked about too. And so I feel like right now I'm on a pretty fine line of I'm not one that wants to give like vague value, like all the fluff stuff. Like I want to give actual value. So that has been a kind of weird line, right? To figure out, okay, how much is too much, how much is too little. But I've noticed like I switch it up a little bit. It's kind of my method. And once a week I go live in the group and I do a live training, right, for those that are members of the group to go in a little bit deeper. And then throughout the week it is I give them a lot of thought-provoking things, right? Because that's the big thing with this type of coaching is we have to get them to dig deep within themselves to even realize that they may need some assistance in going through these emotions and overcoming these things. So I do a lot of that throughout the week. And then maybe once or twice I have a post that is like very valuable, has content. I give a lot of my own personal story, not to get into too much, but a lot of this is for me because I'm a recovered drug addict. I was a heroin and crack cocaine addict. And so like I know what that type of, pain and from my past to overcome that. I've had toxic relationships, overcoming that, right? And then just trying to fit all that in and be a mom, right? Normal mom, and then a businesswoman. And so, yeah, so I share my own stories so that people also know the value that I share, that it comes from, my own personal experiences. I'm not someone that's like, oh, let me help you go through something that I've never gone through, right? I've gone through my own things too.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's, I think, something that not everybody understands is that it's okay to be vulnerable because it makes you human, and it's what draws people to you.
My most vulnerable posts get the most likes and comments, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always been an open book because I always feel if I can speak my story and I can speak my truth and what has happened to me, I know that there's potentially someone out there listening, and I want them to know that there's hope for them. There is hope to get better. And when we put ourselves out like that, yeah, sure, we're at a potential of somebody saying something that could be hurtful. But at the same time, I'm more concerned with helping perhaps that one person who may see it and need to know that they're not alone in feeling how they feel.
Yeah.
So I'm an open book about everything, and I will talk openly and candidly because I think it's about time we start to, especially like I love the confidence when you said that you're a recovering addict,
Yep.
right? That's
Yeah.
a really brave thing to put out there. And some people may go, "Oh," and they may judge, right? And we
Yeah.
can't do
It
anything about that.
happens.
Yep. But then there's other people out there going, and now you're an entrepreneur and now you're doing all these amazing things and you have three
Yeah.
kids and all of a sudden there's a paradigm shift in their world because they're seeing somebody else who got out or they're seeing
Yeah.
somebody else who has survived. And
That's what it's
so
all about.
yeah, it's a huge lesson I think for every entrepreneur is don't be afraid to be vulnerable and to put it out there. And hardship is something we need to start talking about more openly
Yeah.
and
And
not
not all the
pushing.
butterflies and rainbows of like, oh, it's all beautiful and it's all great. Because even with entrepreneurship, any part of life, right? You have your great moments, but there are like just as equal times where you are stressed out and overwhelmed and want to quit. And, and we only share the good because we're always trying to attract people by, oh, look at what we have over here. And what I'm learning is that, we attract people with their stories. And going back to that real quick, what I've learned too is, so I genuinely just want to help people, right? Anybody and everybody. But I've learned to, because so I wouldn't share my full story because I'd be afraid it would be too specific, right? And so other people aren't going to relate to that. And I just want to help everyone. But I've learned that by sharing my story, it may be real specific and it may only really impact 2 people instead of 200. But those 2 people are the people that I meant to work with and the people that I meant to impact. And that has so much more impact than just 200 people commenting or liking and it not resonating with them.
Absolutely. And I always think of it from the standpoint, it could be saving somebody's life,
Absolutely.
right? And we know all the dangers of any kind of trauma that people are dealing with can lead to drug addiction,
Absolutely.
alcohol addiction, risky behavior. All those things they're a reality when
Yeah.
people are trying to process and deal with trauma and suicidal ideation as well. So if it means I'm saving a life, then I'm
Heck yeah.
okay that, Susan from suburbia is uncomfortable with what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I'm so excited for you in this workshop that you're doing. And I really want to know how it goes tomorrow with this mindset shift. So you'll have to post in the group and let us know.
I will.
And um, post, actually, tell them about this workshop because there may be people who are interested in partaking if you have
Sure.
opening.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
let me know.
Yeah. So it's you can find the group. It's Rise Above with Allie D. See my name at the bottom there, so it's spelled like that. Rise Above with Allie D. There's a beautiful big sunflower on there, and that has some more information. But it is going to be Thursday, tomorrow the 18th, and Friday the 19th, 6 p.m. Eastern. It'll be about an hour long each time. The first day we're going to cover over your past, your pain, how to just really move forward from those things, how to address those head on. The second day is going to be more about overcoming your fears and discovering your true identity and bringing out that greatness inside of you. So it'll be those 2 days. It's going to be a lot of fun. I do have a little challenge. So whoever's on is going to be entered into a drawing to win a really cool prize. Not going to give it away, but if you come check it out and come hang out with me, yeah, you have an opportunity to win something. So yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you, and yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted on how it goes.
Yeah, amazing. And thank you so much for volunteering. See, it's
Yeah,
not as, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as intimidating as it sounds. Going to be in the
No, it was super fun. I learned a lot. We got to chit chat. Like, yeah, this was great. And thank you for doing what you do and to come on here and talk with other coaches and just help them, give them a little insight or perspective or just something like that. I'm telling you that one thing that you said, that I'm doing disservice to others by not offering my service. Like, that was a mindset shift for me, that little thing. So I really appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I look forward to hearing how it goes tomorrow. And this is going to be loaded onto YouTube. So hopefully there'll be more people who will watch and follow and see what you're about. So I'm excited for your journey and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I love
Thank you so much.
talking like this in the group and meeting people and getting to know people has been awesome. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So I stopped